So in a few short months, if you were standing where you're viewing me from right now, you would be in front of what will be an L-shaped pastry case right here. Welcome to, I would say we could call this a midway point in construction. We're definitely past the halfway point because construction's not only about actually the building blocks of construction, but all the planning that comes before construction, which it looks painfully slow at first, but we've been working on this project every single day since September now. And now things are actually coming to life. This place is changing quite rapidly. We have struggled on our video posting schedule. You guys probably have observed. Back in the day of no build outs of bakeries, we were posting a little bit more regularly on a regular interval. And you've probably noticed that we're kind of all over the board. Turns out, despite our best efforts, it's very hard to be doing this kind of crazy transition and then documenting it all at the same time. So I didn't want to miss this opportunity because literally this place is changing every single week now. So we're going to do a quick update tour of our new digs. A lot has changed since the last time that you've been in here. Like I said, this is an L-shaped pastry case, and if you walk in the door to proof in just a couple short months, you'd be right now hopefully gawking at all of the beautiful pastries in a display case that's made of walnut and glass. Right behind it, you'll see a big rack of bread, and then over here will be, right in this spot right here, will be our deck oven. So as you walk in the front door to this space, you'll immediately be hit with the fresh smell of bread and the activity of producing it, as well as seeing the finished product. Now, if you go ahead and stay for a little while, now we're entering into, you're looking at the internal part of the bakery. There's going to be a counter that goes down this side and this side of this partition. You might choose to grab a pastry and a coffee, or a pastry and an iced tea, or a pastry and a hot chocolate, and have a seat for a while. And if you say sit right here, well, our baker's bench runs the line over here. You'll have your own butcher block bench over here to eat at, and we'll have our own workbench here. Once in a while, or maybe more than once in a while, we plan on doing classes, and so we designed the two-sided baker's bench so that we can make this into an educational space as well. More on that later on though. So on the inside of this space is all production. I mentioned that that big deck oven is coming right there. Right next door will be our pastry rack oven. We also bake our sandwich loaves and rolls in the rack oven. You wheel a speed rack in it and it spins. If you're unfamiliar, we have a small one right now in the garage, which made all the difference when we put it in, and the one that's coming in here will be substantially larger. In general, we have designed this space for our future. So you can see the beautiful exposed ceilings. For a minute, I had a panic attack because the county was not originally okay with us keeping them this way. But after they came here and saw the history of this building, quite literally see that it might be difficult to capture this on video, but you might notice that the brick over there has some blackened spots. We're documenting a fire there from the early 1900s that burned down much of Main Street. This building dates back to the late 1800s. And for Arizona, I find that to be quite special because our state has only been around in its current form factor for a little over 100 years now. So this building is older than Arizona's statehood. And I think that's pretty neat to begin with. So as you sit further and further down the line here, we'll have plenty of outlets. You can notice that this whole pony wall has now been electrified. So you'll be able to plug in your devices, sit for a while if you so choose. We also have plenty of power on our end for what we need in this table. We resolved the power in the middle of this space with this particular thing in the ground here. We actually removed the tile, cut the concrete, and the electrical is moving from that back wall down in through here and then out to our counters. So a lot of things going on with this building. It was an empty shell, and we are slowly transforming it into this open concept kitchen. You might be wondering what's up with this big, huge wall in the center. We're going to be putting one of our roll dividers here and another bench specifically for the mixer. And I designed this cavity right behind here. So this wall gives us the ability to hang some shelves and get some storage on both sides of it. But this cavity will accommodate all the floating speed racks that we have in the bakery. So in the bakery at any given time, I think we have in the 20s of speed racks, and this place that will grow. If you can imagine, we have maybe a 5-foot hallway here once we put our counters in on both sides. We might have 5 feet of space here. With our crew lined and working in this space, it would be quite challenging to also deal with all the speed racks that we work with. They would start very quickly cluttering the space. So we designed this cavity for them so that we could tuck up to 20 speed racks in this back area. As we move back even further, we're going from baking up there, down the line shaping, down the line to croissant work, ending with our dough sheeter on this side. And so if you sit at the counter at our new bakery in just a few months, you'll be able to watch us laminating dough, you'll be able to watch us roll croissants, you'll be able to watch us shape bread, you'll be able to watch us score bread. Everything that we do to produce bread will be intensely immersive. There won't be any aspect of the production of bread and pastry that is not visible to you when you walk into this store. We do have a back area, so we'll step back. This space is about to change in a huge way. This back area here, by the next time we do an update, without a doubt, we have cut out what used to be a wall here, and this entire cavity plus a few feet inward is becoming our new walk-in cooler. We sized it so that it could accommodate a substantial amount more speed racks than we have now. Now, with that walk-in cooler will be a wall, and we created an L-shaped custom proofing chamber on this side of the walk-in cooler. That proofing chamber will be loaded from one side and unloaded from the other, and can accommodate up to 20 speed racks simultaneously proofing. Unlike now, where we have to share the walk-in and the proofer with the same spaces, meaning we have to choose to take our walk-in and make it a proofer, or vice versa, take a proofer and make it a walk-in. In this space, we'll actually have a dedicated space for cold and a dedicated space for warm. So that will simplify our lives quite a bit. We won't have to play with humidifiers all day long anymore, or use tiny little heaters to heat a room. Although I say all that, and what we have right now is a super luxury compared to where we started. So everything that we've learned over the past few years in the garage has gone into the design of this space. But it's an extremely long building and also an extremely narrow space. It always actually comes out looking a little bit wider and more expansive in imagery or video than reality, but we are dealing with a 22-foot width here. My garage is wider than that. So, however, I have a huge length. So this space doesn't quite end. We go from walk-in cooler to the future home of the bathrooms. The bathrooms are still over there. That's where they used to be. They're all gutted now because they were kind of icky, so we are redoing them. You used to go in through this hallway. Well, no more. actually making our walk-in square so that we can save on that, because it's a lot more affordable if you can have square walls instead of a weird cutout. We'll get a little bit more space. Both of the bathrooms now will be ADA, meaning if we have any handicapped guests, either bathroom will be accommodating of a wheelchair to be able to go in there and spin around, and our guests will have the ability to be accommodated in that way. So this is a back room. We expanded this opening and unburied a historical door. So when I first toured this space, and you can go back in the footage to find the original video of me walking around downtown, when I sort of recreated my experience of walking around downtown looking for this building. Well, I had come to the wall of flowers behind this door. And it was a whole commercial building with an empty wall of just flowers. And I thought that was odd because it looked about the size of a garage door. So when I placed a phone call to the building owner, said, I'm gonna need to put in a garage door because we do all farmers markets right now and we can't give that up. That's kind of the core of our business. It keeps us safe as a business. So we need a way to get things out the door. We also need a way to get pallets of flowers in the door. So a roll-up door was quite critical. Well, the building owner said, I can't be sure because it's been like 30 years since almost when I first purchased the building, but I vaguely remember that there might have been a roll-up door, and it might even still be there. It might just be rolled up in the ceiling. And my building owner is not a construction guy by any means, so, you know, we didn't know how to take that. We were kind of skeptical that we'd find a garage door because he was skeptical that we'd find a garage door. Well, we took everything off and there was a garage door in the ceiling. And so we rolled it down. It hasn't been used in something like 30 years. There's a weird decal of a radio station on it. Maybe that's even worth some money, I don't know. Probably not. But so that's our back area. We're gonna have our dish pit back here. We have a little utility room for our mop sink and those kind of things. And actually a side roller door in that room that will connect next door to our grocery store. You might wonder, why do I need a side roller door that connects to the neighboring building through a tiny alley that's half the size of this hallway? Well, when I was doing the load calculations for this space, we have accommodated a certain amount of pallets of flour on the floor here. However, we are short space for the capacity of this bakery. So we know that if we do a little bit more growth, which this bakery will demand that of us, we won't have sufficient space to store the amount of pallets of flour that we need on hand. So next door, we decided to also take on another project. I had this long-held desire to start a grocery concept related to proof. When I envisioned our new brick and mortar bakery in the past, I always thought that we would have that market dynamic to it because we had such strong relationships in the farmers market world, and it felt like a very rewarding way to move into the future, to bring all of our friends along from the community that were making different types of food than just bread. So when we examined this space for the bakery, and next door was vacant, and we could negotiate a good rental rate for next door and even a favorable risk level, meaning we're given some grace with this new grocery concept if it failed, that we had a way to just streamline to just this. However, that's not the way things are going so far, that notion of failure. We launched a holiday pop-up market over there with 20 vendors that really represent some of the cream of the crop of food producers at the local level in the valley of Phoenix, I should say. The valley, people wonder what I have meant when I said the valley. It's just the way we talk about the Phoenix metro area around here. But everybody that I asked, all of my favorite people said yes. And then the holiday market over there went so well, the 3-day pop-up, that everybody agreed to give it a go on a week-by-week basis with the grocery store in the new year. So we did that, and we haven't lost a single vendor. It's been now 6 or 7 weeks that we've been in business. Each week we're seeing a slight uptick in everybody's performance. Proof is selling next door, our bread, so it's given us the ability to get to know this area ahead of the bakery moving down here. And it's been just an incredibly rewarding project. I'm going to give you guys an update next door as well, but this space now has fire sprinklers, it now has the electrical going, it has a gas meter in the back. We've unburied that garage door, we've done all of our demolition. We're in progress with all the counter work that's going in here, except that's all being done off-site right now. We've still got plumbing. Our ovens are going to be shipping in very soon. They're going to come in pieces. We're going to have to carry all of the pieces in here, and then some oven assembly specialists will arrive from the people who I bought the oven from, Throwback out in Ohio. And they will build the ovens from the floor up in here, because fully assembled, they're far too large to fit through any of the openings. Now you might wonder why we are getting new ovens when we already have ovens. And it ended up becoming simply a math problem. When we first thought about bringing our ovens into this space, our ovens require a hood over them. They don't have a hood over them, and they both need it so that we can meet the right standards, especially for commercial. Installing a hood in this place was a fairly intensive ask. It could be done, of course. People put hoods in all kinds of places. The smallest kitchens have hoods. But the cost was about half the cost of upgrading both of our ovens. And by upgrading both of our ovens, we are going to bake cleaner, we're going to bake at a higher quality, and we will more than double our baking output potential. So in reality, that investment became a no-brainer, because it's better to spend twice on something that will return something to you than spend half on something that is a sunken cost that you can't get out of. Bringing our other ovens here would have been an inevitable replacement. So despite the fact that I had to take out a loan to finance the ovens, which is not something that we do lightly, we knew that it was the right play. So many of you have been following along this journey on our GoFundMe page, and I've been updating there. I've been updating on Instagram. If you're interested in seeing this through to its completion and seeing all of the various steps, we will likely have something else being shown to you over the next few weeks on video, although everything is changing faster than we're able to document it right now. So I will handle the balance on those other places, the GoFundMe, where this place has been funded in part by people from literally around the world. And I still don't actually have the brain work to process what that means, because over 80 countries, the last time I checked, are represented in that seed investment that we needed to get up off the ground. This project is going to cost us over $400,000. And for us, it was something that we knew would be very expensive. We still didn't realize how expensive it would be. Our original estimates were $250,000. But all in all, we landed in the $400,000 mark, and it could have easily gone higher, to be honest. There's still things that we're not doing this iteration. Like, this building has 4 air conditioning units on the ceiling, and we know against our 120-degree summers that they're too old to be adequate for a long term to cool this bakery. So we still have costs beyond that going forward into our first year here. It has been only by the grace of the vast community of people that we were able to get that first bit of seed that we needed to get this ball rolling on time. Because if you recall, we had a very small time window afforded to us by the city, 4 months, to go from where we were at to here. Now, the city is letting us complete the project. It's been 5 months now. We have a couple more to go, and we couldn't have gone any faster. I mean, we've been working about this project around the clock. I stopped baking for months. For me, I mean, you can go back into one of my videos where I say I'm not gonna be the baker that is only baking once a week. And I wasn't even baking once a week on average for the last few months. I'm thankful that now I'm back in the bakery, which will also help with YouTube videos, by the way. But it took getting all this going, and to get all this going, we needed that. So up till date, in terms of donations on GoFundMe, we've raised over $80,000 in donations as of this particular video. But we have then financed the rest, and so we've actually raised over $300,000 right now. Still trying to figure out where the last bit of dollars is going to come from, whether cash flow, whether more lending, whether a little bit more from our GoFundMe. But at this point, this thing is in motion and moving. And it's in motion enough with enough of all the subcontractors and contractors and city and county and employees and all the various pieces that we need to pull this together that I'm able to take some more hours in the bakery again. I don't have to spend all of my time getting this up and running. So we can't wait just a little bit longer, and our world will certainly change dramatically once we get into this space. That'll be a whole new thing. And to think that just 3.5 years ago, it was a one-man thing, hand mixing in a big dough trough, no equipment, no mixers, broken as F ovens, just really rough circumstances. We didn't have capital when we first started this project. This whole bakery has grown through just a lot of love and labor and passion and time. And then we got to this point. We didn't quite make it to that time that we needed to raise the amount of savings to do this all on our own. But fortunately, you know, the way that 2020 went and the way that now we have this relationship with all of you online, we couldn't be more thankful because our future is now more secure thanks to everybody's help. And for a little while this year, it was quite uncertain whether we would weather this. There's still moments that we are worried because there's just a lot of changes going in right now. So that's the update. We can't wait to welcome everybody into this new home. We can't wait to start making videos from this new home in the future. It's going to be a heck of a thing when it's done, but this is the midway point. We've got a couple months to go. So we'll keep you posted.